don't like a lot of music now, but there's still music out there I like. From Barry, for me to start coming back 3 or 4 years ago, I've just been coming back playing with Marty's band. We're not getting younger.
What would be your favourite story of the Unknown Blues Band? Would there be one, or there's plenty of them? I've heard 1,000 of them.
I think Simon's got matching suits, and it was extremely conventional. And we came along and we kind of wore our street clothes on the stage, and they happened to be bright yellow jeans and pink jackets and hair down to here and that, which seems like nothing now, but in the mid-60s that was something. There was a very nice cop down here, his name was Frank Oliver. FO, fuck off. Used to think of it. I remember Barry and I got pulled up one day for walking down D Street beside each other for obstructing the footpath. Just because of how we looked. He said, you guys walk down the street again, you got to do it in single file. You look like Indians, act like that.
I lost my job once, and I went to get the dole in town, and they wouldn't give me the dole because my hair was too long. Yeah, so I never ever applied for it again in my life, so to this day I've never been on the dole.
Well, we don't know what happened to the hair. See, now people think we're kind of nice because our hair fell out.
Yeah, we're accepted.
Back then they wanted to kick the shit out of you, and it was purely on looks, but we loved it. We were just teenagers, and it was like, okay, this is upsetting people, good. And the music was loud and it was noisy, and it was kind of preempted punk music in Invercargill, I suppose. We didn't think it was that. No. We were just young and raw and having a lot of fun. And the girls liked us.
I like the 12-bar side of it. Give me Reed.
The nice, easy songs to play.
Lightening up.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But they're not easy to play, they're not easy to get a feel, and they're not easy to keep in the right time.
We're still trying to get it right. Yeah, so anyway, with the Unknown Blues, I suppose we had an initial little run where we were very popular. I don't know, it was kind of becoming out of look. And then we started getting more work in Dunedin than we did here, so most weekends we'd pack up, and often in cars, or we'd often put all our gear on the train and we'd be up playing at the Cellar Club on the midnight shift, and the alcohol on Saturday, the YMCA on Sunday afternoon, come back. And in those days, you've got to realise music wasn't in pubs, it was in dance halls and in coffee bars, and I mean, there was no alcohol. People just went out to hear music and have fun. It's a different world. And eventually no one would employ us anymore. They thought we were a bit rugged, and because the guys would walk in with their guitars over their shoulders and carrying empty guitar cases full of large bottles of Spates. We'd have them out the back, and we would consume them before we played, and sometimes during.
Yeah.
And then, am I bullshitting yet?
No, that's true.
He's going to stop me with bullshit. And later on we found out we hired a couple of halls, out the Oropuki or somewhere like that.
Tuatepui we played.
And I worked as an apprentice compositor in the printing trade, so I printed up these little cards, the Southern Blues League, that looked like a football club, because we...
Oh no, that was out on the way to Bluff.
Yeah, down there. And we sold these for 50 cents each or something, got all this money, and we realised by doing this we'd hide what we're doing, what all the promoters were doing, but we're in fact having a private function. So people were allowed to bring their own, and we had the only licensed gigs in town. We were all underage. Because they were like private functions, and we didn't know that we'd just accidentally discovered this loophole in the law, so they proved extremely popular with the people and the bands. So we were loved even more. And Frank Oliver locked us up again.
So back in the 60s, was there any rock groups or bands that you guys compared yourselves to?
Oh, you mean in New Zealand? New Zealand
around the world?
Well, we were inspired by a lot of those English bands that did American blues music, like the Rolling Stones and the Pretty Things and that led to us to hearing Muddy Waters records and that, and we were just trying to play that music. I don't think we kind of thought we liked them or anything. We were just enjoying that sort of music and doing our very best to play it as to the best of our abilities. And we learned a lot along the way, Vaughan, who's coming tomorrow, actually did a lot. He, you know, he had been in bands before, and he showed us about.
As a drummer. He was a drummer.
A
wasn't
drummer?
he? Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And he had a row with the band.
Yeah, they sacked him.
They sacked him, so he took a disliking to the band, so he...
Brian Lamb, the guitar
To get even
player.
with him, he went out and taught himself the guitar better than the lead guitar player that he
It was kind of a revenge thing.
Yeah.
And he knew we were mucking around trying to form a band, so he showed Rocket how to play bass. He taught me that if I'm playing in G, you got to use the C harmonica and all these cross tunings and that, and he effectively whipped us into shape.
Yeah, he did.
And we ended up a pretty good band because of his expertise, but because we were coming like purely trying to teach ourselves, and he had this bit of musical experience, and he effectively showed us how to do it all.
Yeah.
And through his teaching, we got pretty good. We held our own in Dunedin and Christchurch.
And he got even with Chappie along the way.
he ended up a better guitar player than the guy that sacked him.
Yeah,
And that was his original motivation.
So Dave's still playing nowadays now. He's still playing. He's still.
Yeah, I never stopped. I moved to Australia when I was 20, and I don't know. The old story. Got a girl pregnant. She was from Hanmer Springs. We had a little kid who's 35 now. I've got 3 grandchildren, but I joined bands over there. I'm still making records, and you know, I haven't made any money, but I'm still having fun.
Do you think the blues scene's becoming popular in New Zealand?
Well, I don't live here. I only come here once a year, but it's very popular at the Appleby on Saturday nights when I'm there. And I'm sure these guys, Marty and Barry can answer that better than I
No,
can.
Marty might be better. I just
It is what it is, really. It's
but one eye.
it goes through stages. Blues, I think, as resurgences. But now it's just minute of the population, really.
And I think it's pretty much accepted as a legitimate thing,
It's an art.
like jazz or something like
Blues
that.
is an
It's
art
there.
form.
It's there. There's a lot of great blues players from all around the world, and I mean, my big cat's cry, and it's not lies. I've played in Bluff and I've played in Berlin, and there's blues audiences, a lot of places in between that have been great.
All places in between there would be blues music.
Yeah.
Do you think that young kids should be inspired by blues?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you should come down here on a Wednesday night when Marty and Barry and Ruth and them have got all the young kids down here playing. It's fantastic. That's one of my highlights coming back. You were seeing all these young people playing that kind of music and playing it well. But you can tell us more about that, Marty. You teach and put them together, don't you?
Sometimes I put them together. So.
But you know,